Hello, Meoni here, and I'm making a patch note video for you today. It is April the 6th, 2016, and we have had a patch for Black Desert Online. This one came out of nowhere, but it's answered a lot of sort of queries and problems that the community had with the game, and it seems that DAOM Europe is actually listening. So I will be linking all of the patch notes stuff and access to all of these patch notes and everything talked about in this video in the description below if you are interested in the sources. So let's first have a look at what was added in today's patch. Firstly, we're going to look at the event and system area. Apparently they've updated the name tag of the cherry blossom trees from cherry blossom seed for farming to cherry blossom tree for farming. If it wasn't already obvious enough that these created trees, I guess that small tooltip change will come as no surprise. But it's nice to see already, the tidying up little bits and pieces. This is of course part of the spring event. If you've not seen anything of the spring event or didn't realize there was an event on, I wouldn't blame you. I've made a video, in fact a previous video to this that I made yesterday was all about that, so go and click that. I'll put an annotation link here. So next up we have more tooltip changes and some other changes as well. The Easter egg die sales, the period for that has been extended to April the 13th. Currently we have a slight amount of money off certain dies, so you can go to your cash shop and get some whilst you can get them for a reduced price. The Easter egg event period again has been extended to April the 13th, so that goes with not just the die sales but also the actual event itself. So if you're still looking to get those particular items from the event, the egg-shaped Fabergé egg for example, or the chandelier, you can also click on a video here to see my guide on that particular event if you're unsure of how to do it. You want to get that done before April the 13th because that is the deadline when it will be removed from the game. So some item changes now. The highest price for registration on the following items on the marketplace has been adjusted for Kazaka weapon, Leverto weapon and Ogre's rings. Now the reason for this is that a lot of people are using scripts to purchase weapons, and the maximum price for these items was a bit low, or I'd say well, probably not a bit low, but they needed to be adjusted so that people have a higher chance of getting them. So if you save up your money legitimately, you can actually afford and just buy one straight up. Now, at this point in the game, many people have quite a few million. Me personally, I've not been focusing on that, but currently there is a bit of a problem with people using auto hotkey and scripts to essentially buy instantly these items, which actually bypasses the capture. Hopefully that will be addressed at some point in the future, but for now, this is a temporary sort of situation to at least try and fix this issue. Anyway, we had some abnormal marketplace prices for the Dobar armor for whatever reason. Apparently they fixed that, so things are how they should be. Some items got their little stats improved on them, a bit of a buff. The token of friendship, which was a earring, had defense 5, HP 15. It's now actually been buffed to defense 5 like usual, but HP plus 20, which is quite a significant little buff. Maybe it was needed to bring it in line with the other items here. The Shrine Guardians token, which is a ring, one that I personally use at the moment, quite affordable. That's got, previously it was defense 5, HP 15, and now that's been boosted up to defense 5, HP 20 as well, to bring in line with the token of friendship earring. So if you're going for a full defense sort of tanking set, this is definitely the best one to go for now, for the best price at least. It's not best in slot by any means, but it's affordable and it will make a significant difference to your character sheet. Also on this list is the Rydell earrings. These previously had defense 4, accuracy 1, now they have defense 5, accuracy 1. Across the board, these little bits and pieces of jewelry have been buffed accordingly to essentially bring them up to on par with other items, but not quite best in slot. The NPC store price for the following items has been changed to 1 silver within the red battlefield. If you didn't realise already, I will be making a video on this in the future. The red battlefield is supposed to be a 40 versus 40 sort of arena style battleground. If you've ever played World of Warcraft, you'll be familiar with this. And essentially the items you could purchase from the vendor in there, potions for example, could only be used within the red battlefield, but before today they cost a significant amount more money. I think it was 1,000 silver or something for a potion. Now they're down to 1 silver a piece, which brings this in line because you're only able to use these in here, and it means that you're not having to pay extra amounts of money, which potentially you don't have to spend on these items. Another big change that I think a lot of people will be pretty happy about, I don't think anybody's going to be truly salty about this one, a big mechanic change is that the number of black stones needed to force an enchantment has been lowered. Now, any lowering amount to force an enchant is going to make anyone happy, really. According to sources on Reddit, however, whether you'll believe these or not, I haven't tested it myself, something that would usually take 30 black stones, for example, now takes 29, so they've only had one reduction. If that is the case, then, you know, that's obviously not a significant change, but it's also going to cost, 500k less, for example, on a particular item, which is a big deal, you know, especially when you're saving up to, you know, fully enchant the rest of your stuff. But along with the current cap on plus 15 up until the next patch, I think this is a great way of catching up now, and they're really trying to bring players sort of up to par, sort of make it a little less painful on the RNG in the video game. They're listening to people's feedback, and apparently this is a change that people wanted. So I'm personally quite happy about this. Any number of Blackstone's reduction to force an enchant is obviously going to make me happier. I'm currently working on a plus 15 Urea, but it's stuck at 14 and my fail stacks keep going up. So if I have to, I will force the enchant, and this reduction does make it more viable for me. So monster changes, there are some significant changes to field bosses, guild bosses, and indeed Kazaka. They've all been adjusted. That means that the drop rates have increased even ever so slightly. That's perfect. If you've ever done sort of like Red Nose, for example, when he's up and you're a bit annoyed with only a certain amount of people getting loot, or maybe not getting a chance of a Laverto weapon, the drop rates on those weapons and items are particularly low, so increasing the drop rate would make natural sense. Currently there's not enough Laverto weapons in the market to really, be a market for them in the slightest, and as I said previously, people are using scripts to instantly buy them if there was one listed anyway, so it does kind of up that. I'm yet to see how much that drop rate has increased. They've not confirmed the amount, but any increase is a good increase. Hats off to Down for listening on that one. The guild raid boss Ferid and Giant Mudster can now attack up to 50 targets, whereas previously he could only attack 10. That's significant because before he would only attack those 10 people, and only those 10 people. You'd still get your loot, but 50 targets means that you're able to actually manage the boss more significantly with your raid group instead of him randomly going after the first 10, which is a really nice change, a little quality of life change, and I really like that. Something along the lines of quality of life changes that I think everybody will really sort of significantly like out of this patch is game sounds should now be muted when the game window is minimized to the tray. That's a pretty big one. A lot of people didn't want the game sounds to be playing as they minimized the game. A lot of people like to tab out, perhaps watch YouTube, and muting the game forcibly is quite annoying, so that's a very nice quality of life change. There's an on-off function for the helmet in your die window now. Previously it was broken and wouldn't allow you to see what your helmet would look like with the visor down, especially considering you could dye those particular parts of the helmet and you couldn't see what they would look like. So that's been fixed. The up and down function on the helmet face cover in the die window has indeed been added. That's on a separate line for some reason. There's new combat music for when a player is detected or attacked by an elite monster with higher level. This is kind of nice, so you can visually, as well as visually, you can auditorily announce whether something is an elite monster that you've accidentally pulled instead of just dying straight away. Me personally, I listen out for these little cues as well as just the visual cues, so this is a real nice addition for myself and for people who have poor eyesight and perhaps have good hearing, for example, or rely on those features. The sound effects from a party member for your basic attacks, your counters, and etc., your other attacks, should now sound softer as a party member gets farther from a player. Currently there's been a lot of pop-in with the sound. If a player is near you or if he's a million miles away, the Archer's Barrage is very, very loud. So this fixes that, so you're not going to hear someone's abilities from a mile away, which is very much welcome. I'll definitely say that. Now they need to work on the Archer's actual damage, but we'll see about that. So there are some other basic issues been fixed and resolved. little bugs with flashbangs and little bugs with horse flutes, etc. But apart from that, this patch has mostly been focused on buffing certain items, or rather bringing them up to par with other items in the game that were introduced in the Medea patch and perhaps were a little undertuned for this content, especially as our patch is very different than the one in Korea or any of the other territories that has this game available to them. So hopefully this has been useful. I mean, myself personally, I would love to have the patch notes read to me. If you are the same, then hopefully this is exactly what you've been looking for. I'll endeavour to keep doing this as there are more patches, along with my news segment on Saturday. My next video will be a contribution acquiring guide, the best way and fastest way to get most contribution possible, other than just dailies, but those are included as well. Thank you very much for watching and listening in this case, this time. And I will indeed see you next time.